It is 5:35. I think. Anybody? Hey,
All right,
let's start the panel. Okay, yeah, we're starting the panel.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on down. My name is Josh. You can find me online as Josh in the Shell. That's YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. And this is my lovely co-host, Elliot.
Howdy.
Just Elliot.
Just Elliot.
I mean, he really is. I mean, look at this. It's an absolute specimen.
I call that the action. It's just. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can find me Round Rock Community Choir, Dead Music Capital Band, Blow Commotion, just gigging.
He's in a lot of bands.
Yes, I'm in a lot of bands, and I have zero time. I was actually in New Orleans last week, but anyway, and I used a bunch of techniques that we are using in this panel. What?
Yay. He's learning.
What? What is this?
Yay, learning. So, for those of you wondering what this panel is about, I am a professional charisma coach, and what I do is I can help people gain social skills. I can help people get better at sales, perform better, things of that nature. What we're going to do today is we're going to go over how to make a great first impression and how to gain confidence so that you can start feeling more comfortable. Because I don't know about you, but I'm a nerd. And socialization has not always come easily to me. In high school, I was bullied a lot. I had like zero social skills. I had 5 friends. 2 of them were friends with me so that they could bully me easier. It wasn't great. But at one point I decided, you know what? I don't like that. So everything I'm teaching you here, I did not learn for you. I learned it for me. And then I went to more anime conventions and realized more people need it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just here because I'm like, hey, I'm a cool guy, I like to think. Socialization for me has been actually fairly simple. I don't know why, it's people naturally gravitate towards me, and I have this hidden charisma, I'd like to say. And I don't mean to boast, I'm not really a boastful guy, but I find making friends very easy, and I am a very extroverted person. I put myself out there, and I feel like not a lot of people are like that. And some people are like, wow, I wish I could be you, and I'm like, do you? Is that a real thing? But, I bring a different sort of emotional, you go more for the analytical, I'm more of the emotional kind of feel of how to get a feel on people rather than the analytical driven, like, oh, I must do this and this at the time. I treat it like jazz. Like
yeah,
everything.
I'm more on.
Yeah, I'm more like jazz. I'm like, hey, let's go loosey-goosey freeform here. And for me, that works because I can just go with the flow. But for a lot of people, they're like, no, please, I need a plan. And recently, I did get to a point where I had my first anxiety attack. And it was, thank you, it was not pleasant. And it really brought this experience like, wow, I wonder if people socialize like this, if they deal with this every day. For me, it was just one day, and I had to leave the room, and I took 5, and I just blew into a bag. But I wonder about people who deal with that daily, and this is kind of for them more than it is for me.
Well, yeah, one thing I didn't mention is I do actually have, it's not past tense, this is something I struggle with, social anxiety. And for those of you who have social anxiety or know someone with social anxiety, it's not just, oh, I don't really like people. A lot of people, I don't know why, I feel like people just overuse the word, but so many people think that social anxiety is like just not liking people or being a little bit antisocial or not liking big crowds or whatever. But no, it is actual anxiety. In the past, I've had several panic attacks just from being in a room of more than 20 people. I've had a panic attack because I said something just a little bit differently than I wanted to, and the other person was fine. they didn't get anything bad from that, but I just played it over and over and over in my head, and it just, I vomited for most of that night. So I'm not coming to you from a place of, oh yeah, I didn't have many social skills, but now I'm great. I went from someone with very severe social anxiety, and I am an introvert, I'm not an extrovert, but I went from that to not only teaching this stuff, not only teaching you all these different things that we're gonna go over in just a second, but it's to the point where I was a top performer in the company rated #1 in customer service. So was he.
Oh wow, that's a high five opportunity.
Well, I'm just saying. So
yeah.
This is actually where we met. We met at a company that, I mean,
It's a cool place.
Yeah,
we'll keep it there.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. Hush you. Oh, that's straight up rude.
Ooh. Do you want to borrow mine?
No, I'm good.
Oh, hey.
I'll just be all sassy and stuff and just, hey, I got a microphone now.
But anyway, yeah, so both of us were top performers, and I was getting consistently 100% on my customer satisfaction. And just before I left, which it was a little too stressful, I was dealing with too many people on a daily basis, and no matter how good I was at that job, I still have social anxiety, it got to me. But before I left, I was working on trainings on how to help people get even better at this stuff. And I've kind of turned that into my charisma coaching and, of course, this panel, which I've been doing the panel for longer than I've been doing charisma coaching. So, that being said, that's quite a bit of backstory on us, but how many of you feel like you aren't that good at socializing? Maybe you need some help just getting over and actually talking to someone to begin with. All right?
Both my hands are raised.
This is correct. I'm very glad that your hands are raised.
Should I put them down now?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. All right, so who thinks they know when a conversation starts? Does it start after small talk? Does it start the moment you say something to someone else? Does it start when you're just in the same room as someone else? Does it start in the morning? When does a conversation start?
Up to you.
I'm not trying to make it a trick question, but I'm essentially trying to gauge where you are thinking that a conversation starts, so that we know kind of when you start thinking about a conversation, because it could be you walk into a room and you start a conversation with someone by, oh, hey, how's it going?
Oh.
Which, you know, I've done that. So would you say for you, does a conversation start when you enter a room or when you actually start talking to someone?
I'd say probably the moment you exchange orders, I guess. Someone takes the initiative, and then someone decides to respond to that, and we'll go from there.
Interesting.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I mean, literally speaking, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, literally speaking, that's when the conversation starts.
Yes.
But for the, how many people have anxiety, just by show of hands? Okay. How many conversations do you have with someone before you talk to them?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, and it goes over and over and over in your head, depending on your type of anxiety, of course, because everyone has different types of anxiety. Mine is social, so I have the experience of just playing a conversation over and over and over in my head. And then I get lost and feel like we already had the conversation. Then I go and talk to them and realize they didn't, and then I have a panic attack. It's great. However, how many of you find it difficult to get a conversation started to begin with? All right. What's hard about it? I'll start with you up here.
Opening my mouth.
Opening your mouth.
Making noises that make sense.
Ooh.
That is also quite difficult for me. Just so you know, I also do some voice acting on the side. It's mostly like commercials and IVR systems, nothing impressive, but I do know that...
In your IVR voice.
Thank you for calling Ushicon. If you would like to leave a message, please wait for the number 1 to appear on your screen. You already have a number 1, well please stop and go away.
Yeah. Dang. It's almost like you do that professionally, semi. Or is it professional?
It's professional.
Yeah, you get paid for that.
Yeah. I get paid for it, I get paid for charisma coaching. One on its own does not make enough money for me to live.
Welcome to being a musician.
Yep. So anyway, yeah. To make a good first impression, you need to make sure that you, one, can pull up the confidence to say words that make sense, and sometimes your anxiety can get in the way of that. Do you want to know something really, really cool?
Yes.
What if I told you that you could improve your confidence by doing one thing 2 minutes every day?
Is it exercise? Is it screaming?
Okay, exercise is great.
Yeah, exercise is good.
Screaming can also help sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes screaming helps.
Especially into a pillow. That's what I do.
So, what is something that... Let me see.
Ooh, yes.
Trying to see, what about how most people in here are sitting seems common? Is everyone sitting up straight? Is everyone slouching? Is everyone pushed over to the side? What do we think? Oh my goodness, so you know about Amy Cuddy and her power poses. That's 100% where we're going with this. So, would you like to tell everyone what a power pose is?
I don't really know, other than like you take the confident stance for. I did it before an interview and I got my job. But
Oh yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
That's
I actually did
awesome.
one before I drove out here. I did the Wonder Woman pose. So, one thing really quick, your body language. Does your body language tell anything to anyone else?
yes.
Yes. What does it tell people?
Well, it depends.
Yeah. So what does let's say good posture tell people?
I'm confident, ready for action. I don't know.
All right. No, I like that answer.
I like that. Kind of like an approachability, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
What-
does this look like? If I do this.
Angry.
The middle finger.
So here's a question. I mean, that's obviously, he's kind of closing himself off, he's leaning back, he's not showing interest. But is that only telling other people things, or is that affecting his brain?
Maybe.
Okay, I will answer that question for you. It is affecting his brain. Your body posture affects you on a physiological level. For example, one of the power poses that a woman by the name of Amy Cuddy did a lot of research on is called the victory pose, which is technically what you did earlier when you raised both hands. Good. Yep. Close your fists. All right. That's a victory pose. That look familiar? Superman's another good name for it. Yeah. So it's the same pose that people use when they're victorious. Someone just won a race, someone just hit a touchdown. You see this all the time. Yeah! If you hold that pose for 2 minutes or longer, it can increase your testosterone production and decrease your cortisol production by 25% each.
Huh.
Another good pose is the Wonder Woman pose, which is what I'm about to have everyone stand up and do right now, so you can see how it feels. All right, let's all get up. So, Wonder Woman pose. Put your feet about shoulder width apart. Put your hands on your hips. Stand up straight and feel as powerful as Wonder Woman. Can you feel that? You feel it right here?
your lungs.
All right.
You're doing a breathing exercise too with it. That's another level right there.
So this pose and other poses like it force you to have good body posture, which increases your serotonin. It increases or decreases your cortisol, which means less stress. This has actually been shown to decrease depression. It's been shown to help you regulate anxiety. And it's been shown to boost confidence. There are studies on all of this, which means all you have to do, get up in the morning, pretend you're Wonder Woman for 2 minutes, and all of a sudden, well, you feel more confident, you feel more relaxed, you're able to control your anxiety, your depression that much better, can't you?
I could take on the world right now.
All right, let's go ahead and pop a squat right now.
Different pose, but good idea.
So yeah, any pose that you can name, any pose that you see someone who looks powerful, so you have the victory pose, you have the Wonder Woman pose, which we just did, and the gentleman in the back is doing a great power pose right now. That is another one Amy Cuddy has told us about, the leaning back, hands behind the head, that power pose. Works especially better if you can elevate your feet. There are people who did that pose for 5 minutes and aced every interview in the next, I can't remember how long this study was for, but...
I don't remember either.
Yeah. So yes, your body language is not only telling other people if you're comfortable or confident or whatever, it does, but it also tells your body. So if you stand up straight more often, if you try these power poses out, you'll find that you can become more confident that much more quickly. And this is something that you can just start doing today. It's something you can start doing every morning or before something important. And that's really how easy most of the stuff today is going to be, is just, yeah, here's one thing, and it'll make everything 25% better.
Small changes make, a lot of small changes make a big change, like baby steps, you know?
Yes, I made the big mistake when I first started my journey into becoming more charismatic. I made the huge mistake of trying too many things at once, which, of course, as I'm sure you can imagine at this point, gave me anxiety attacks. So I don't recommend doing that. I do recommend trying one new thing, maybe just one new thing every couple days or one new thing every day. So we're getting you more confident, we're getting you open. Now, if your body language is open, you know, not closing off, not slouching, when you're actually standing up straight with open body language, do you think people will approach you more? Do you think people will start the conversation before you even try to start the conversation? You're telling me no. Why not? Well, so for those of you who didn't hear, what she said was she doesn't think so because they have no reason to talk to her. Was that what you said? Did I catch all that? All right. So why wouldn't anyone have reason to talk to you? You look like fun.
I like the purple hat.
It is a very nice purple hat.
Yeah.
So one of the things is people require, for their mental health, they require the socialization with other people. Doesn't always mean you have to go to parties all the time. For people like myself and people like you, introverts, we can have a few good conversations a week with a few people we're very close to and be mostly happy with that, right? Well, if we feel like we want to try and be more social, we're going to get into a little bit later, we are going to get into actually breaking the ice, starting the conversation yourself. But just opening up more will actually invite more people to talk to you. So if you stand up straight, if you make sure that you're not closing yourself off, because what's a Elliot, go ahead and cross your arms for me. What does that look like to you?
Upset.
Upset?
I'm a rebel. I'm a rough boy. No. More defensive, okay.
So, he's doing one of two things, depending on how you want to look at it. He's trying to protect himself, or he's giving himself a hug. Both of which kind of tell other people, oh, he doesn't want to talk to me. I mean, he's not even looking in my direction. Why would he want to talk to me? Well, fine. Or you could open up, and here's the crazy part, smile. Okay, not that creepy.
No. But, just kind of relax, chill.
Yeah, relax, good body posture, open up, don't close in. Just keep it open, keep it loose, and if someone wants to have a conversation at all, they're more likely to approach the person that's open.
Special caveat, just don't go straight into victory pose when you're doing this. Don't go from like there to victory pose. You'll throw someone off. I swear, I've done something similar to that, and the jarring contrast between the two will definitely throw off people. So don't do that.
Good call.
Yeah.
I don't know why, it just never crossed my mind to like do that when other people are around. Personally, I usually do my power poses either like with a client or just by myself, like in my bathroom or something.
My friend does that, and then I realized that a lot of people aren't my friend whenever I first meet them, and yes, what you do with your friends are absolutely nice. Like, my friend goes and he's like, I'll take your finest hamburger, and we're like, ah, and then I do that to another person, and they're like, okay, this guy's crazy. And I'm like, oh, well, oopsies. That's just the way it is. So, there's always a special caveat, like, there's time for your friends, and that's okay. That's absolutely fine. If you want to make more friends, if that's really up your alley, you gotta try them on first. It's kind of like, I don't know. You don't have. Oh wait. So are you saying that I kind of have to fake it to make it?
So this is one of the things when I started looking into Amy Cuddy, one of the first things I noticed when she was doing like TED Talks and speeches and stuff like that is she is the first professional who talks about things like confidence, anxiety, socialization, and things like that. She's the first professional that I've seen actually say the same phrase that I've been saying since I started these panels, which is fake it till you make it. Because a lot of people are going to sit here and tell you, oh no, you shouldn't fake it, if you try faking it, everyone's going to notice. Well, if you're trying new things, it's not going to be natural if it's new. So you try something new, see how it works for you. If you like it, keep doing it. If you don't like it, don't keep doing it. But that's what we do. We fake it till we make it. And that's the fun part, is if you pretend you're confident, you'll stand up straight, you'll maybe smile more, and all of a sudden, you're literally getting your body to tell your brain that you are more confident. And you do want to smile more. One of the greatest things I've ever done was I had taken too long away from other people and I was starting to like close back into myself. So what I did was I sat up straight and I watched stand-up shows for about 5 hours straight. And by the end of it, like at the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, that's really funny. Oh my God, he's hilarious. Oh, this is great. I'm really enjoying this. But by the end, I was laughing out loud so much that I was just having fun all the time. I went out, I talked to people, and I was having fun. You just gotta put yourself in the position to feel more confident. Know what confident body language is. Standing up straight, open body language. Just fake it. Pretend. Pretend you're confident. At a certain point, of course, you do actually have to make sure that you are telling yourself good things about yourself. I do want to make this very clear. This is all you need to be confident. This is, if you fake it till you make it, it becomes easier. You still have to like yourself, and you're all wonderful people, so like yourself, or I will be very sad.
I feel like I've been called out here.
So when Elliot and I first met, it was really bad. See, self-deprecating humor is great. I love it. It's one of my favorite types of jokes. Elliot, do you want to talk about your self-deprecating jokes when we first met?
Was this when I was on all the dating apps?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so
I still love that Google Docs file though.
I have a Google Doc, and it's just me berating and putting myself down to a bunch of potential candidates, I'll say. And you can guess about how well that went. It got to the point where I was actually sharing the doc and being like, hey guys, do you have any criticisms? Please, I need more. And just, it was a fun time. It's not something, though, that you should do. I would definitely not say do that. It got to the point where I would just send like 10 messages a day to like matches being like, oh man, you know what I really hate? I hate me, oh boy, and you know, just stuff like that. And I guess I have enough self-respect to know that I don't actually hate me, and that's kind of the joke. But when you say that to people, they don't know that, and they don't know that you know that's a joke. And you just end up alienating yourself a lot from a lot of potential people that are probably just fine. And on one hand, it's good because you don't want to seem too confident. You don't want to seem too like, oh wow, like this guy really gets it. But at the same time, if you don't have that confidence, people aren't going to approach you. People are going to be like, wow, they really think this little of themselves. And they're probably going to either A, walk all over you, or B, just not want anything to do with you. And it really hampers future conversations, because instead of turning it into them, it becomes about you. Is that a good way of going about it?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that. So, we've gotten you to understand how you can be more confident, or at least an easy trick to help you start out. So, what's next? It might be talking to people. I think what's next is actually talking to people. But that's kind of hard.
Uh-oh.
That can be really hard sometimes.
Do we have a mandatory activity right now?
I think yes.
Oh, this is my favorite.
So, what I would like you to do is to get up, find someone nearby, and talk about one of your favorite anime characters. I will give you 2 minutes for this. And I just want you to say what you like about that anime character and why that's important to you. 2 minutes, find someone who is not sitting next to you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and finish up those conversations, get back to our seats, and we will get on with the very next part of this panel. Well, a few of you listen to me. Thanks, guys. All right. So at this point, I'm going to come out and actually talk to some of you. Don't want to get that too close to the speaker. I'll get feedback.
Yes, oh yeah, that would be a bad idea.
That would be bad. Oh no, I hate feedback. I don't want anyone to tell me how I'm doing. I'm really
Did someone say
so self-conscious
feedback?
about that. All right, so why did I have you stand up and go talk to someone else, other than the obvious fact of it's standing up and talking to someone else? That is what you came here to work on. So how easy was it for you? Do you mind if I use the microphone? You won't be on camera. All right. So did you find anything difficult about starting this conversation? Why or why not?
It's easier for me because I'm at an anime convention, so I know that it's like like-minded people. When it's normal people, I'm not as comfortable talking to them.
I got you. Yeah, so you're not as comfortable talking to normal people. You're more comfortable here at the convention with people, like-minded people, like you said. Yeah? Well, I'm kind of the same way, honestly. Although I have gotten to the point where I can walk into pretty much any space and make friends with anyone, which, let me tell you, it's a superpower that took me 6 years to learn. And I can teach it to someone in 2 days. I actually have a few, yes. So if you'd like a business card at the end of this, I can give you a business card. So, how do you start a conversation? If you're going to go up and talk to someone, how do you break the ice? Props are really, really good. So you can come up to someone who has something that's really cool or is wearing something that's really cool, which it's really easy. I'm gonna pick on you now. It's very easy to see that, wait, is this, God, I can't remember the name of the anime. Is it the Demon King one? Or you're not in cosplay?
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So what are we?
These are my Playdate clothes.
Cool. That's actually really rad. They're her Playday clothes.
I kind of like it. It's like kind of a Krampus vibe going on.
Hey, Krampus is my homeboy.
Here comes Krampus.
Can you put in a good word with Krampus for me?
Well, he's pretty hard to get a hold of off-season.
That's fair. All right, I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, what happened there?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so you can notice things about other people. You can talk to them about that. If you have something, some people have some kind of gimmick or prop that they can hold up and go, oh, hey, have you seen these buttons? I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this. There's so many buttons.
It's not even full yet.
It's not even.
This article could be expanded with your help. Thanks, Wikipedia.
So, having stuff like props is a really good idea. I will say it is a good conversation starter, though don't like always bring it up. Just like maybe the first time and then like kind of reintroduce the theme, but in a different way. Because at one point you're gonna just be known as Button Lady, and that's all, and you're like, but I am more to that than just buttons.
Same goes with making jokes. If you break the ice or you, in the first part of a conversation, you start making jokes, if all you do is make jokes, you're just gonna be the joke guy. And that's gonna get old real quick. But it doesn't matter how funny you are, if you keep doing it and there's nothing else, people are gonna get bored and walk away. So, there's actually something that I've started teaching my clients recently, so we haven't been able to talk about some of the changes I wanted to make to this panel. So you don't know exactly about this, but it's going to sound like, oh yeah, that sounds right.
I'll sit down. I'm ready for this information.
All right, so One of the interesting things about conversation and starting conversation is that the brain will see every conversation with a new person the same way it sees what you could possibly consider the human mating dance. No, you're not always going around being like, what if I find someone I'm gonna date? Yeah. No, but it's the same process. Your brain goes through the same motions, which means people have to like you, and the things that you can do that improve your flirting can also improve normal conversation. One of my favorite things to tell people, the number one way to flirt really, really well. You ready for this? All right, this is a big one. Listen to them and show genuine interest.
Ooh.
I know, it's a crazy concept, but that is the number one way to flirt. It's also the number one way to make friends. So what can you do to start a conversation if you're like, I want to meet someone new, I want to see who I can meet, what we can talk about. Does anyone have any ideas, anything we did over here? How would you start a conversation with, do you mind if I pick on you for a second? All right, how would you start a conversation with, what's your name?
Julia?
Thank you, Julia. How would you start a conversation with Julia? Yes.
Hi, Julia.
Hi.
I love it. That's the best icebreaker I've heard all
that's
day.
really awesome.
It really can be that simple.
Yeah, really, absolutely.
Love name tags.
That is very helpful. Sometimes I forget my name, so this is extra helpful. But yeah, sometimes all you have to do is say hi. If you're nervous and you're like, well, I'll say hi and then I won't have anything to say, well, then you get into, oh, Julia, you're wearing a really cool hat. Where's the hat from?
Actually, my mom made it a
Aw.
year ago for a spring party she went to.
Your mom made it a year ago for you said a spring party you went to?
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, was the party fun?
Well, I wasn't there. It was like a hat party, which apparently is a thing that grown-ups do of her generation. And I nicked it from her for my outfit today.
Okay, so you nicked it from her because it wasn't your party. It was technically her party.
Yeah.
I got you.
I got her permission to take the hat.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
That's
So-
an awesome story, by the way.
That is an awesome story. I really like that. So I asked her a yes or no question.
And then what
Is there a reason you didn't give a yes or no answer? Other than it being a really cool story?
To be a better conversationalist.
Be a better conversationalist. Yeah, that can really help. Another really cool thing, if you don't know what to say, and you're already kind of starting a conversation, we'll get into that in just a second.
Oh.
Don't worry, I'll close that loop. So, that is breaking the ice. It's really just that simple. It's once you have the confidence and you're like, I want to go talk to someone, you can say, hi. All right, that was the little static shock. Felt a connection. All right. And what was your name?
Joelle.
Joelle? Thank you, Joelle. I do really like the hat, though, by the way. It's a lot of fun. What is it with me and headwear? I just keep noticing people's headwear. Is it because you all have amazing headwear, or is it because I have an obsession?
Front row is killing it with the headwear game.
Actually,
yes.
Yeah, I think everyone in the front row is that what the front row is for? Did we miss a memo?
Maybe I should get like my Krampus outfit going. Oh. Well, yeah.
So, given what we just said, does anyone still think they'll have some trouble breaking the ice, or you can break the ice, but then you just kind of... Anyone? No? All right. Sounds like we're pretty comfortable breaking the ice.
I notice sometimes when I'm in a social situation, I get to a point where there's a bunch of people there and I'm kind of sandwiched. between a bunch of different conversations, and I see someone in the same area, but we've already met. What is that called?
Well, that could be called an awkward situation, but I like to call it thawing the ice. So you can break the ice and just start a conversation, but people might already be in a conversation that you want to join. And you don't always just want to go, "Hey guys, I'm in your conversation now." Hope that's okay. That's not going to work. So what do we do instead? Well, we just kind of... So what are we talking about?
Potatoes.
Oh, potatoes, that's really cool. Okay, I'll just keep listening. That's one way you can thaw the ice. Just ask someone really quick, what are we talking about? Or, what's really fun, I'm gonna come pick on people back here. You haven't been picked on enough. So let's say these three lovely people are having a conversation, and I know, what's your name, sir?
Joey.
Joey. So I know Joey, I don't know any of these people. So what can I do? I want to join this conversation, but I don't want to be intrusive. How do I get into Joey's conversation?
Huh?
How? Or, and here's a fun one. Can you two stand up for me? Yep, out here. It's really fun. Don't worry. This is going to be really cool. So yeah, I'm in the middle. They're having a conversation. Blah, blah, blah. They don't notice me. Why would they notice me? I just got here. Oh my goodness. Hey Joey, how's it going? Pretty good. What are you talking about?
Project on our car, on some stuff.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. Well, keep going. Keep going. This is really cool. I love it.
Instant skepticism.
That's true. Hey, you're paying attention. It's great. I'm just making this more awkward on purpose now.
It's nice to meet you.
Oh, it's good. It's good to meet you too. So, once again, walk in. Do a little, oh, hey. And I'm assuming he was talking at that point. And so just, I know you, and I say hi. Yeah, I'm good. There is no wrong answer. I'm just messing with you now. No, you're good. So, what do you feel like the most important part about doing that? Because, as you notice, it gets very awkward very quickly sometimes, right? We just had that happen a couple times. Is there a way to stop that? Yep. Because remember the first time I came in there, and I really like your reaction there. I step in, and I start talking, I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. And then we get back to the conversation. Now, you can do that, but the easy thing to do is pretty much what you said earlier, just, oh, hey. And then pay attention to the person who's talking. So if he was talking, I would say, oh, hey. And then let him talk, listen to him, show genuine interest. My God, I'm repeating myself. I'm like a broken record. And then it's all good.
We're eating good in the neighborhood.
We are eating good in the neighborhood. Thank you, Applebee's. So, thank you so much, Joey, and what was your name? Nobody. All right, Joey and Nobody, thank you very much. So as you can see, it can be very, very easy to start a conversation. Coolest part is you don't even always have to talk. But let's say that you're in a conversation. It's just you and someone else. You broke the ice, you're talking, but you're not really sure what to say. I did say I'd get back to this, didn't I?
Oh, yes, callback. So you have nothing to say.
What can we say if we have nothing to say? Nothing is one option. Let's try that. So, hey Corey, how's it going? How's it going? Cool. Yeah, good to see you too. No.
Uh-oh.
Well, that doesn't work. It is boring. How do we make this more exciting? What's your name, sir? Dan? Good to meet you, Dan. My name is Josh. It's okay, everyone forgets my name. I'm just Josh.
Oh.
See, I make that joke first, and then nobody else has to make it. So, how long have you been at the con so far today? Since about 1? 5 hours, that's pretty cool. What's your favorite, not including this one, I'm not looking for handouts, not including this one, what's been your favorite panel so far?
I have seen 2 shows that I had never heard of before. I love them. They are contenders, and the opening was good.
The opening exercises? Ceremonies? There we go. So you like the opening ceremonies. You saw a couple shows that you said you hadn't seen before? Yeah, you like talking with some people like in between the panels? Oh wow, that's really cool. So he kept talking. I didn't really say much, did I? Why'd you keep talking, Dan?
You asked a question that reminded me of something. Sometimes I'll ask my wife something and she'll tell a story and tell another story. She just wants to keep going.
There are certainly people like that. Did you know that you can actually get people to continuously go and never shut up? There's actually a very interesting technique that psychologically will get someone to just keep talking. It's really easy too.
Yes, and?
Well, yes and is good, but I can add absolutely nothing of substance to the conversation and just keep someone talking.
Yes, and, but with substance from previous.
No, I just repeat the last thing that they said.
Oh, okay.
It's active listening.
Yes.
Did you notice that about 90% of what I said to you were your own words? I just repeated your own words back to you for most of that. Oh, he's learning.
Oh. Advanced techniques.
Clever. But yeah, active listening. Using people's own words. If you don't know what to say, they just gave you the words that you can say. And then they'll just keep talking. So just actively listen, and by actively listen, of course, I mean use their own words back at them as much as you can, and eventually you'll find something you can respond to, and then you can add some substance of your own. That's a really good way to keep a conversation going. Notice how a lot of this comes back to like paying attention to people and showing interest. Weird, that.
Little interest goes a long way.
It really does. Now, I could tell you all sorts of persuasion and influence tactics, and I could tell you how to sell absolutely anything in 10 minutes or less. But at the end of the day, the most powerful tools in your toolbox is the ability to show interest in other human beings. It's possibly the most powerful tool that you have.
But what if I'm not interested in other human beings?
Oh, you
Then
mean like me?
Why are you here?
I mean, that's fair. I am still an introvert. I do still have social anxiety. I don't always want to be around people. Hint number 1, you don't always have to be around people. There's that answer. But 2, if you have to be around other people because you have a job where other people exist, what can we do to reduce anxiety, depression? What can we do to increase confidence? Anyone remember?
Power poses.
Power poses! Just go to the bathroom for 2 minutes and do a power pose.
Both hands.
Just go into a stall and just... Just hold it for a little while. Thank you, Elliot. It's beautiful. So, I think that's about all I want to talk about right now as far as good first impressions, because at this point, if there's something that's maybe not clear to you, or you'd like more specific information about something, what we can do is have our Q&A. Yes?
Are you a call center refugee too?
I am. Some of the stuff that I teach, I actually did learn at call centers, and then I perfected. And then I started teaching to people at call centers. And I have a 100% success rate with increasing the customer satisfaction statistics of every person who works at a call center that I've coached. So yeah, a lot of stuff you learn at call centers really works. If the call center is good, which they're not all very good. Oh yeah, some of them are gross. So yeah, that was a really good question. Thank you. Does anyone else have a question? Yes.
What about at a job interview where they ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself, and then your brain just shuts down?
Ooh, that's actually, okay, so here's something really cool. Do you know why your brain shuts down when you're asked a question like that, or if you get up on stage, or anytime someone asks you something just mildly stress-inducing? Well, technically it's your inner lizard. Your inner lizard is fucking with you. So, what happens if you are physically threatened by a predator or something out in the wild? Fight or flight response. That is absolutely correct. What does the fight or flight response do to your brain? Does anyone know? Yes, don't think, act. It literally chemically lobotomizes your frontal lobe. So when your brain goes blank because something is even just mildly stress-inducing, it's fight or flight. Your brain literally lobotomized itself. It's not your fault. It happens. Your body's just like, shit.
Oh, that's the worst.
So, the coolest part about that is all you have to do is let your heart rate calm down. Because if you notice, anytime your brain just shuts off, your heart rate is usually pretty fast. So, in the middle of an interview, I may not recommend going, but you can. There's something called box breathing where you, well, that's not technically box breathing the way I do it, but you breathe in for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds. Breathe in for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds. And that will usually get your brain back on track. But in the middle of an interview, like your question was, usually what I'll do is just repeat the question back to them while I calm myself down and think of a response. When you have nothing to say, just use their own words back at them so you can regain your self-control. So you can regain your poise, your confidence, whatever it is that you're kind of lacking at the moment. Give yourself some time and just, okay, so you want to know about, you want me to tell you a little bit about myself, or, however they phrased it. And I can totally do that. Usually what I'll do when it comes to interviews and questions like that, which that's a terrible question. I hate that question. It's stupid. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Hi, I'm human. I exist. Probably. I keep looking at a wrist that has no watch, so there might be a problem there. But that's not what you're asking, is it? I'm not sure how that interview would go. What you can do is think of stories. Stories are really, really powerful. Come up with a couple stories that you can tell just like that. Like a story about when you were at a different job, or a story about a convention. If you come to these conventions and maybe you help people out with cosplays, maybe you do the video games, maybe you do something collaborative with other people. Just find something that you've done at a job, at a con, online with video games, and come up with a story and write it down, see if you like the story, change the story up, and then just remember the important points of the story, and once you've calmed down, you don't really have to come up with anything on the spot, because you've already come up with it. You just tell the story that you tell everyone when they ask you that question. That'll teach them. That was a very good question, thank you. Anyone else? Bueller. Yes, ma'am, I'm gonna run back here.
So you showed people earlier on how to introduce yourself into a conversation. Forgive me if I was not here whenever you answered this question earlier. How do you get out of a conversation that you do not want to have?
Right. But okay, that's fair. That is entirely fair. So you want to do it the non-dickish way. All right. Okay, I actually got to go. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
What you do? Yeah, that does happen. Okay, so here, is it usually males? Yep. Okay, so this has nothing to do with males being predatory or anything like that. It has to do with us being stupid.
Yes.
Okay? So we are very dumb. Okay, one of my favorite factoids in the universe is the fact that if you have a male and a female with the exact same IQ, the female is still smarter. I didn't say more intelligent, because they have the same IQ, but the female is smarter. The ridge that goes down and connects both parts of your brain, both hemispheres that allow them to communicate, is larger in a female brain. They're just better at switching modes. A guy's talking, you start walking away, he figures you need to go grab something. He doesn't know that you don't want to be in the conversation. So sometimes you just have to say, well, thank you so much, I actually have to get going, or I have to go do something else. I gotta be, that's a good one. Yeah, you can use that all you want, and just break rapport. At that point, guys are really, really bad at that. I've been really bad at that in the past, because we just don't know what to look for. It's a little too complicated to really get into how to read body language, but for everyone in here who feels like they don't know when someone else isn't interested or someone doesn't want to talk, do we want to quickly go over really basic body language? Sure, okay. That was really enthusiastic, thank you guys.
Yes.
All right, so I need 2 volunteers. You'll be standing up, everyone will be staring at you. All right, you did ask the question, and yeah, there we go. All right. So, would you be okay with being on camera? Okay. I have to ask before we actually come up and I get you on camera doing this. Elliot, could you position the camera in a way that does not get these lovely ladies in the shot? Actually, we do have a stage. You want to get up on stage? All right. Hey, you volunteered. Elliot, let me know when we're good. All right, cool. So, I want you to both face out this way. All right, perfect. Are they having a conversation? How can you tell? They're not standing towards each other. Well, you don't always see people actually standing towards each other all the time. Sometimes you see this. Why don't you go ahead and turn? Turn. No, not you. You're fine. Sometimes you'll see this a lot in bars, where the guy's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And the lady's like, "Is he talking to me?" So that is actually, this is entirely normal for a beginning of a conversation because someone needs to approach someone else, right? So you do have to make the approach. They're obviously already having a good conversation. Does anyone notice her changing her body position while they were laughing? Did she maybe turn a little bit towards him while they were laughing? And that's usually how that works. So, how can you tell when someone is not interested in conversation? So let's say you're facing each other, you're having a good conversation, and you are not having a good time at this point.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I love that actually. Okay, the way you just moved your feet. I don't know if you can see this, but she has very slightly angled her feet away from him. Sometimes you'll see one foot facing towards the person, one foot facing away. Sometimes you'll, okay, so if both feet are facing away, that means I want to get the fuck out. Okay? If one foot is staying in, half of their attention is elsewhere. You can tell a lot about how people are feeling about a certain interaction by where their feet are pointed. So if I just do that for no reason, I'm interested in talking with all of you now. I'm pretty sure that's not how that works, but it is now. Yeah, it's okay, not everyone can. So yeah, that is some very, very basic body language. Another good indicator that people are not interested. Okay, so if someone is covering their face or their mouth or anything like that, they are in fact not comfortable. Sometimes they will pet themselves. Not like this. This is really weird. My beard is soft. I just got new beard oil, so it's a little...
Oh, okay, I thought you meant like this or something.
But no, a self-pet can be this. So that's a self-pet. If you're self-petting, you're not comfortable. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't want to talk to you, it means they're not comfortable. If you notice these things, here's a really quick way to make people more comfortable. Ask them about themselves. I don't care how low your self-esteem is, you will always love talking about yourself, at least to some degree. People love talking about themselves. If you can get someone to talk about themselves, or even better, if you can get them to talk about something they love, like anime. We're at an anime convention. Oh yeah, so if anyone's wondering, afterwards I can give you my information if you would like coaching sessions. I can absolutely do that. Thank you so much, by the way, for volunteering that. So thank you, Joey. So that was fun. So, any other questions, comments, concerns, crustaceans, cannibals, car troubles, cabaret acts? I can go on.
Yeah, can you tell me how to get a T-34 pit that's stripped out on a finish block?
Oh yeah, go to a local junkyard, and then just toss a quarter and it'll bounce off one, I'm sure. So anyone have any questions or comments or queries about what we've been going over, or something specific to your life, something that you have trouble with, something that a friend has trouble with, a family member has trouble with?
How do you think alcohol affects people's social skills?
Alcohol is a depressant. So what it does is it lowers your inhibitions, which means it will increase the, I can't remember the original word I was going to go with, I just kind of blanked out on that one, but it will kind of increase the volume of any emotion that you're feeling. So, if you are sad, do not fix it with alcohol. It's gonna make you more sad. But because it lowers inhibitions, you are also less likely to not do something. Which means, yes, it can increase your ability to start conversations. It won't increase your social skills unless your social skills were already there to begin with. So if you feel like you're more social and more charismatic while you are intoxicated, it's already in your brain. Find ways to start conversations more often while sober, and you might start to notice that it can allow you to get better and better and better, can't it? How many of you just forgot the words that just came out of my mouth? Do you know why? Ever heard of neuro-linguistic programming? NLP? Does that sound familiar? I see some nodding, so I don't know why I came up here. I still have the mic, and I still need to give the mic to people so I can hear them. So, for the folks at home and the people in the audience, what is NLP?
I've heard is like you're trying to like social hypnosis with your words to make people feel a certain way.
Kind of, yeah. Neuro-linguistic programming is also sometimes called hypnotic language patterns. Now, the fun part is, does it work? No. Is it easy? No. But there's a really, really, really easy one that you can walk out of here with and realize that you are becoming more social just by using one simple word. This is a hypnotic language pattern. I could go into extreme detail as to why it works, but I don't care why it works. All I care about is that it works. That one word is because. How many of you have heard of Robert Cialdini? I kind of figured the answer would be no, but I thought I'd ask because it's becoming, his book influenced the is it Persuasion, the Psychology? Yeah, Persuasion, the Psychology of Influence.
Yeah.
It's becoming a lot more popular, and I've noticed a lot more people recognize the name Robert Cialdini. But basically, he wrote a book on how to easily influence people. He is not a neuro-linguistic programmer. He doesn't do the crazy hypnotic language patterns, but he did accidentally stumble onto one by realizing and even doing studies about the word because. So, what if I need to get out of a situation like you were saying earlier? And I said, oh, I gotta go. How likely are you to feel offended by that? Not at all? All right, pretend we've been having a really good conversation, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, I said, I gotta go. Well, you just need to be less understanding, sir. You're too good of a person. But you can find that people may not always realize that you need to go. Like what she was saying, sometimes they'll just keep following you and talking when you've said, I have to go. But if I said, sorry, what's your name, sir? Daniel. Dan and Daniel. It's perfect. I love it. So if I was talking to Daniel here, and we're getting really into this conversation, and I need to leave for one reason or another, you know what? Maybe I just don't like him. Maybe I don't like Daniel, but I don't want him to think I don't like him because I'm not a dick. I mean, I am, but that's beside the point. So, I could say, well, I gotta go, Daniel. Bye. And then just walk away. That's kind of abrupt. That's kind of weird. It's a little dickish. Or you could say, I need to go because I've got a panel in an hour, so I need to go get ready for that. All right, thanks. The funny part is, so the study was done, 10 minutes? Cool. The study was done where they had someone try to cut in line for using a copy machine. They said, "Hey, can I use the copy machine?" "No, I'm using it." "Hey, can you use the copy machine? I only have I only have 5 pages or whatever." "No, you can wait in line." "I need to use the copy machine because I only have 5 pages." All of a sudden, more than 80% of the time, by using the word "because," they were able to cut in line, and the people were happy about it. So if you give a reason, just remember, "I need to do this because," or "I'm going to do this because." You can even do that to start a conversation. I actually went up to, there was 2 guys in a bar, no, not last year.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
it was about 2 years ago. I went into a bar, and I literally sat down next to a guy, and I said, "Hi, I'm going to begin this conversation now because I'd really like to be in a conversation with you." And it worked.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because is your friend. Because has hidden powers untoward. Because. Doesn't that just make sense? Yes.
Are we going to sing with your now?
Because.
Apparently the answer is yes.
Because of the wonderful things he does.
Louder, Elliot.
No. I'll lose my voice.
All right, so I think we are running fairly short on time. So what I will say now, yes, once again, yes, I am a professional charisma coach. If you liked what you learned here today and you would like to know more, maybe because you have trouble speaking to people to begin with, maybe because you have maybe a job where you have to talk to people all the time, you want to get better at that, maybe you want to be a better salesman, maybe you want to get better at flirting. Because you came here and sat and listened and participated like wonderful, wonderful people, I will be giving you a $50 discount for your first 5 sessions. So, that being said, I think we should be wrapping up, probably, yes?
One closing thought. Sometimes people just want to close themselves off, and you shouldn't feel bad about that. There might be something going on with them, and conversation is a two-way street. I can be as sociable as I am, and I can be as confident, cool, collected, and somebody will not want to talk to me no matter how charismatic I am. And at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about that. There might be something going on there. And just because they don't want to talk to you doesn't mean everybody doesn't want to talk to you. Oh no.
Hush.
Hush. Anyway, those are my closing thoughts. And I feel like everyone did a really good job here today. I'd like to, guys, you are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming out. I just want to reiterate what Elliot just said. If you are feeling very uncomfortable and standing up straight is not helping, you don't have to talk to people. If you're an introvert, make sure you get your alone time because introverts need alone time to recharge. Take care of yourself. That's priority number 1. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.